Oh, hello. Greetings, everyone. I hope you've all had a great Valentine's Day or whatever today is. On time. Listen, I have a reputation to uphold. I am on time like 90% of the time, alright? Isn't no one's on time as much as I'm on time. But the croom in my room. Need some crambles. Thanks, Miriam. Ooh, Sir Kenya. What's up, Billy Bob? I'm doing good. Just I woke up like 2 hours ago. Went grocery shopping, came home, ate some stuff, and I was like, "Oh crap, I got to stream." And then boom, I created the event. Dritz, unmute my other account. It's been 2 years. I don't even. What? Huh? Unmute. What is this? What are we talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. What's up, Cross? Stop this Kobe stuff. Stop. Every week. Every week confusion. Stop. Get a new persona. Please. Fetus dibdui. Okay, Dritz, so why is One Piece the worst story you've ever read? Yo, what are we talking about? What's up, Oots? Oots. What's up, Jet? Oh my gosh. Man, it's already like almost 2 months into the new year, man. Feel old. Things go by so fast now. How have I been doing? Good. My power has not gone out since the last time it went out when I was streaming, so, that's a thing. Hopefully, I don't jinx myself today. And hopefully, there's no Magellan today. But would it really be a Dritch stream if I didn't Magellan everywhere? But yeah, I don't know if the stream's going to be, as long as it normally is, like 2.5 hours or whatever. I'm just going to go until essentially, we're done talking. Don't think I'm going to bring in anyone to talk to or anything like that, or join any chats. I've kind of already talked about this chapter behind closed doors to people for a lot, so wouldn't really want to have the same conversation again just so people could hear it. Yeah, the mods have a mute button, and I guess 2 years ago they clicked it on me and forgot to turn it off. They count as Leo Meshi. Oh, Leo. Oh, Twitch boy, you're Leo? Okay, I remember you. Is the mute in Discord, or is it on in here on the chat? Like what? I don't even know what this pertains to. I'll have to talk to him though. I'll hit him up after this. Dritz, wouldn't you agree that it's better that Big Mom can redeem herself in the future than just take her out and waste any future potential? Okay, so that's getting into the chapter stuff. I'll tackle this whenever I go and talk about the chapter, essentially. But that is a good question, which the answer to that is a bit weird. So I guess I'll go into it now. So the choices are: would it have been better for Big Mom to survive here and last longer, or would it be better for her to just be out of the story? Your opinion on this kind of depends on how much you believe in the future, I suppose. Like in an ideal world, assuming everything worked the way that it should, most people would probably think or want Big Mom to survive more so that she could be handled in a more proper manner. Although I think that even that seems to be the route that it's going. A lot of people are on the Big Mom to Elbow stuff. I still think that conflicts with one of the themes that Oda's trying to go for with Wano. But for Big Mom to be quote unquote redeemed, you have to believe in the possibility of her being good. And I don't think that is a future that is realistic. So what it really comes down to with the Big Mom surviving or being defeated here is, do you value the power structure of One Piece over its characters? And they both have merit because they're both very important. Have I watched Osama Ranking? No, I've never heard of it. What is it? Any new series you've seen? I just started reading Girl from the Other Side around 4 days ago. Really like it so far. It's been great. It's like a father-daughter dynamic in sort of like a medieval fantasy setting. Really good. Like it so far. It's about 30 chapters in. It's got like 50 or so chapters out right now. It's like a monthly series. So you already know I'm on that. What's up, Christian? Mate, bruv. I'm gay, mate. Glam, please. Leave me alone. What's up, Gunter? Sir Clans. Thoughts on chapter 1040? I mean, overall thoughts. Still lame to me. I don't know. It's like, when you read the chapter, I feel like you have to look at it from a certain perspective. So I would actually like to ask. The thing is, I would probably rather ask people who actually like the chapter questions, because I think there are essentially concessions you have to make in order to like feel hyped for what's happening. And so a lot of it has to come down to with what's happened with Big Mom. Is that something people genuinely like, or is that simply the lesser of two evils? People would rather see Big Mom get memed for another 70 chapters but maybe be defeated by someone else than have Law and Kid ass pull their way into defeating her. So the big meme continues, but you save something else. But if big meme continues, it still kind of undermines Law and Kid anyway. And how do people feel about Law's ridiculous increase in power with no justification for it? You know, I've seen a lot of Law love, and Law is one of my favorite characters in the stories, in my top 10. But, you know, looking at what he's doing, to enjoy it, you have to make the concession that Oda basically just said, fuck it. Law goes from getting absolutely shit on by Dofi in Dressrosa. There's no screen time for him to learn anything or to progress. And now he just has Awakening, and he's helping 1v1 or 2v1 a Yonko at the highest level using ridiculous abilities. So it just depends on the perspective. Like, are people able to come to terms with like this ridiculous change and then feel happy for Law regardless? I don't know. For me, it's just kind of like, okay. Just is one of your least favorite arc and manga? Well, I mean, this also one bio. This assumes that I'm very cultured on a lot of manga, so I can put a frame of reference around it, which I'm not. Is it my least favorite arc? I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of different though, because I'm in the One Piece community, and I was a One Piece guy, so you know, One Piece means different things to me than it would for like another series that had like a really bad arc. So, you know, for a series that I valued really highly in One Piece, you know, it matters more to me that Wano is the way that it is now than, you know, it would for perhaps what I deemed a lesser story. Dritz, have you noticed the One Piece community has slowly been more critical since your video dropped? No. And I don't know. I haven't to be truthful, I have not really been paying attention, so you would have to fill me in on this. I don't watch any content creators' videos, and I don't really listen to what people have been saying. I've kind of been in my own sphere talking with people, you know, privately, you know, like the Torlados, Christians in chat. I talk to Christian and Glam and Sen all the time privately. But as far as content creators go, I don't watch Roger. I don't watch Cole. I don't watch Sawyer. You know, I don't watch any of those guys. So I don't know what they say. And I haven't talked to Brauco in like 2 months, so. Oh, this is a non-One Piece question, but it's actually an important question. Mr. S says, Dritz, what's your opinion on the CompTIA certifications? Is it really better than learning code if someone wants to get into IT? Oh, see, that's kind of like, that's a difficult question to answer because it just depends on what you want to do. Are CompTIA certifications valuable? Yes, they are ridiculously valuable. They could land you a very high-paying job, and they can kind of be the thing that sets you apart from other candidates, especially depending on the type of work you're getting into. Is it better than learning how to code, though? Not necessarily. It just depends on what you really want to do, right? I mean, if you want to learn how to code, then, probably just learning how to code is, better than most things. Maybe get your certified ethical hacker certification, a couple other certs. But, learning how to code and making your own projects, if you want to be a coder, is more important in the long run than getting a CompTIA certifications, because for a lot of programming jobs, you basically just need to demonstrate your ability to program. You don't necessarily need a degree, or you don't necessarily need CompTIA certifications. But for the jobs that require CompTIA certifications, they're very valuable. Like, I'm a network tech right now, and I wouldn't be able to have my job working in with the government if I didn't have a CompTIA certification. It's actually a requirement. Let me see. Oh. Was this the best fight on Onigashima? In my opinion, no. Was it probably the most exciting for the casual reader? I would say so. I would say it's probably the most exciting because Oda goes out of his way to make Law look really cool, which he doesn't do with Kid. But, Oda makes Law do a bunch of cool things. And when you see characters do cool things, that's very exciting. So probably for your average person, this might be the most exciting of the fights until we get to the, outside maybe the roof, or we get to Luffy 1v1 and Kaido or something like that. Do I think it was the best? No. Jitsu, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Baki is surprisingly well written. Here's the thing. I never said Baki wasn't well written. I just said it's fucking hideous. Jits, have you read Attack on Titan? No. So, I guess this isn't spoilers if you're asking me. But, so years ago, I want to say 5, maybe even 6 years ago, I read Attack on Titan, and I got to shortly into the time skip, and then I dropped the series because something wasn't clicking with me, and I wanted to basically put it down and pick it up at some other point. I haven't done that, and I've been very hesitant to because people that I know, people that I respect, people whose opinions that kind of cooled on with mine have made me very hesitant into picking the series up after its ending. But I'll probably read it at some point anyway. But sidetrack for Attack on Titan, I just recently listened to the Rumbling opening, like the part 2 opening for the final season. That opening is really good. I have that on repeat. I was just listening to it on repeat before I got into the stream, actually. I really like that opening. I think it's pretty good. Also, yo, Sen, what's going on, Sen? Sen says, her being written off here as a trash character is greater than her ruining another arc. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is when it comes to Big Mom, and I was talking about this with, Eric and Christian, is that I think if Big Mom survives and is fully in the arc of Elbaf, then she'll probably go down as probably one of the worst villains of all time. I don't know if I've seen a character like Big Mom, or I've even heard of a character like Big Mom in another series, where she quite literally gets dragged through the mud for over 200, what would probably be 200 chapters, just for her to get clapped up in an arc. That's a weird legacy for Big Mom to have, to essentially be quite literally a meme for 200 chapters, but you're supposed to be one of the most important characters in the series to ultimately just get fucked. It's kind of odd. Dritz, do you hate Oda? Hate Oda, the person? No. What? Hello? Thoughts on Law's Bankai? What was his Bankai? Dritz is a Bake Sundere. Silence, Baki. Am I black? Yeah. Yes. Yes, I am. Christian, you say Luffy versus Kaido is far better. Uh, I mean that's fine. Like I said, I was speaking kind of more from like meathead excitement. I don't think Luffy versus Kaido is as exciting. I mean, it just depends on your preference. I think people love Law and Law is loved for a good reason, but his abilities are very interesting to watch. Whereas Luffy versus Kaido hasn't really been particularly interesting. I mean, the drunk chapter was a good chapter. I like that chapter, but I don't think it was as dynamic or interesting as watching how Law's abilities work or interact. Glam, what is this question? Where do I draw the line between being a furry and just being okay with having sex with humanoids that have animalistic features? Hey, listen, as long as you don't say anything to anyone, Glam, it doesn't matter what the answer is. You keep that secret. Is Big Mom the worst villain in One Piece? The worst villain. I want to say yeah. I can't. Like, there are sections of the story that are poorly written, but I don't think there is anyone that comes close to being as bad as Big Mom. I think she's probably easily the worst villain in the story. Dritz, did you have a problem with the Monster Trio's power-ups in his lobby? Yep. If I lose it all, let me fall by another day. That song is so good. Rumbling, rumbling, bam, 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 bam. Yes, I listened to the full version. Am I going to be playing Elden Ring on day one? You already know, yeah. Dritz, what are your thoughts on Kanye airing out Kid Cudi and Pete Davidson on Instagram? So, I mean, I don't really know the context behind that, but I know that Kanye's been on his usual bullshit. So, it's just what Kanye does at this point, man. I mean, he needs help. I feel a little sick at the moment, like lightheaded or nauseous or something since yesterday. Oh, memento. That sucks. If it makes you feel any better, I almost died on the toilet like 2 days ago. Like I was struggling. I was on that thing for like 45 minutes. Vision going in and out. It was a struggle. Dritz, have you read the Dragon Ball manga? If so, what do you think of it? No, I have not. Who is my favorite Dark Souls boss? My favorite Dark Souls boss. Ooh, it's for me. It's going to be a Dark Souls 3 boss. Dark Souls 3 out of the Dark Souls is my favorite. Although I haven't fully played through 2, so it's mainly just Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 that I'm comparing them to. And I prefer the Dark Souls 3 bosses mainly because I prefer the gameplay of Dark Souls 3. So my favorite boss would be. Dragon Slayer armor is really good. Soul Cinder's good. But I do love Frida. I do love the Nameless King. And I'm actually a big fan of the Midir fight as well. I feel like fights that take a long time to do, where it's like a story in of itself as you're fighting them. So you become really satisfied whenever you beat them. Gale's really good. Hmm. I'm gonna go Nameless King though. What is it you are looking forward to the most in Wano right now? So I guess this isn't Wano related, but I'll tell you, and this can be backed up. The only thing that I've actually, well, I guess there's a couple things that I've been like curious about, but as far as like plot points go, the only plot point I've actually shown interest in is the current cover story. I'm interested in the direction of where that's going. Hey, Jets was reading, so I forgot you were streaming. LOL. What'd you think of the chapter? Yeah, what's up, Tesla? No problem. I mean, read gang, read gang. What do I think of the chapter? I mean, it's got Big Mom, so yeah. Jets, wouldn't you agree that an arc like Enies Lobby would be heavily criticized if it came out weekly today? Feel like a weekly reading ruins your enjoyment significantly. I mean, it may ruin your enjoyment if you're not able to, I guess, read properly. The medium comes out weekly for a reason. It's meant to be consumed on a week to week basis, and you can tell that by the way that Oda structures the chapters and how many cliffhangers he uses. It's intentionally made to be a weekly series. That's its entire purpose. Now, reading it in a binge means that you can ignore a lot of things because you won't be paying a lot of attention. But would the arc be heavily criticized? No, I don't think so. It would have issues. People would have problems with it, but people have problems. Like if you're an OG, and you're one of us in the One Piece community, you still have most people have issues with that arc. The power ups being the most blatant ones. But like I said, one of the things that greatly aids Enies Lobby is that it doesn't really fuck up on its emotional delivery of what actually matters in the arc. The emotional narrative of Enies Lobby is gold. The thing that would probably, like even I had a problem with this is that, Mary showing up to save everyone was kind of like whack. But, at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing, but it is something you can bring up. But, it delivers on everything. The greatest subplot in One Piece history is greatly delivered on Luffy versus Usopp. Best subplot in the story. Never been a better B plot. Robin stuff, GOAT. And that's what matters. Worse than Foxy? Worse? Why is Foxy even in the, like... Foxy's a meme character, right? So you can, not like Foxy because he's a meme, but it's not comparable to a character that it's supposed to matter. Like, Foxy does not matter to the story of One Piece. Big Mom is literally one of the most integral parts of the story of One Piece. So, yeah, not even comparable. Let me see here. Just trying to go through the comments right now. Let's try and find some answers. Yo, what's wrong with the Lothric Princess, Sen? What the hell? Christian says, I'm going for a strength faith build in Elden Ring. What are you planning to do? Usually, like my playthroughs, I like just to go straight meathead, so I'll probably just upgrade strength a lot and be a guy that swings giant weapons. Because that's what I like. Dritz, do you like the implementation of Conqueror's coding in the story? Absolutely not. I think it's garbage. The power up itself is like a cool idea, but its implementation is definitely bad. Peep the GC. I'm streaming glam. That's very interesting picture glam. Just thoughts on the Zanisha Joy Boy stuff, if any. So the only thoughts I have on this are like the people. So I saw this. I saw complaints going around in the community about people not paying enough attention to the Zunisha Joy Boy stuff. Like, oh, why is everyone focusing on the Big Mom Lion Kid when we have this stuff? I don't know if people are just being intentionally stupid or something, but the Zunisha being connected to the Joy Boy is something that we knew from Zoe. Like, it is basically told to you in Zoe that that's the case. It just got confirmed in this chapter, which isn't bad, but acting like it's a huge reveal drop is completely ridiculous because anyone that has half a brain can figure that out. So, like, yeah, I mean, as far as, like, the thoughts on it, cool. You know, Oda's getting to it. We'll get our answers on that soon. I look forward to the answers, maybe. You know, completely fine with it. No issues whatsoever. But, you know, it's just kind of weird that people are just like, oh, stop focusing on Big Mom. Talk about Zunisha. It's like, we already knew this. What do you want? Drit's thoughts on Lord of the Rings of Power teaser. The trailer was mid, but to be honest, I've seen a lot of press, a lot of bad press around Lord of the Rings adaptation. So I'm fairly confident it's probably going to be ass. Also, good job, Memento. That's great news. Dritz, has Wano gotten worse for you over this past year? I mean, yeah, I mean it hasn't been getting better, dude. But like, you know, it's not like I can go any farther at this point. Like something drastically awful would have to happen for it to go farther than what it already is. Like, you know, this is one of the worst arcs of all time for me that I've read. Um, so, you know, that's just what it is. What is the best completed fight in Onigashima for me? Um, uh, completed fight. Um, Probably Frankie versus Sasaki. I don't know. Like Frankie versus Sasaki, basically the only thing that is negative about it is that like, you know, Frankie didn't struggle and that it was kind of a meme, but that's like literally every Frankie fight. So there's really no importance in the fight at all. It just kind of happens. It's like a sideshow. So I didn't even like the fight, but compared to all the other fights, which are pretty bad, or just, you know, the I feel like they don't deliver on the things that actually matter. Frankie versus Sasuke seems like the most solid one. You know, Nami has one of the worst fights in the series. Robin's fight's pretty bad. You know, Sanji has his worst fight in the series. Zoro versus King, not good. Killer versus Hawkins, not good either. So yeah, I mean, yeah. $20 from Donatello. At what point from leaving Dressrosa to arriving to Wano do you think Law obtained his awakening along with multiple awakened abilities because he's using and announcing them as if he's performed them before, but when or where? Um, Nowhere. I mean, it just happened, man. I mean, we kind of knew this was going to come because of the power, like the power creep between, you know, Zoro, Sanji, all of the characters. You know, in private, we've talked about this, about how Oda, like the power creep was going to come. We knew it was going to come, and it came. And, you know, it wasn't written. So, Dritz, what do you think of Carrot? Carrot's Carrot to me is like similar to Frankie and Brooke, where she doesn't really matter. She's like a side character. I do not like Carrot. I don't find Carrot to be endearing. I think that there was potential for Carrot, but you know, with the Pedro stuff, but that was squandered in execution and in idea. I mean, there's a reason why there's been like one panel of Carrot and like in like the entirety of Wano, and all of her subplots or plot lines that could have been for her are non-existent, right? The Parasparrow stuff, a joke. But in terms of characters that I would be the most okay with in becoming the next Straw Hat, Carrot would be farther up the list because the thing that I don't like is that, obviously we're heading towards the end of the story for One Piece, right? And if we're going to get more characters, then they're kind of going to be ham-fisted at the end. And the thing that I don't want to happen, which is, I mean, it's already happened, but it's like, I want to stem the bleeding, I guess, is I don't want to introduce more quote-unquote important characters that take away from the people that the fandom actually cares about and wants to see. They want to see them be better. So, you don't want characters that supersede Zoro and Sanji. Well, I mean, for me, I don't care about Sanji, but I'm talking about the community in general. You would like to see the girls that are already in the crew matter, like Robin and Nami. And you would love to see Usopp do some things, right? That's the core of the story. And then, Chopper's a lost cause, but, theoretically Chopper as well. I wouldn't want to introduce a like a great character or like a more like dynamic character if it came at the cost of things that were already there. And Carrot's essentially a character that would not matter to the story if she became a Straw Hat. She would just be like a side piece, kind of like Frankie and Brooke, that doesn't detract from the narrative. But on the bright side, on the other hand to this is that there is the possibility of introducing a character that is better than some of the pre-established characters just because they're going to get screen time and things to do. But I don't really share that because I'm kind of bitter at the characters that I already like not being good. So I would probably hold a bias for that. Let me see here. Just going through the comments. If I'm not answering any of your comments, guys, just go ahead and put them. Just post them again. I'll get to them eventually. You know how it is. Elden Ring hype? You're goddamn right. Elden Ring, go. How long should Kaido's flashback be? I mean, I don't think there's a required length for it. I mean, as long as it's good, that's all that matters, right? You would hope that it's longer than 1 or 2 chapters. Like, ideally, it would be somewhere in like that maybe 4 to 7, maybe even more. 4 to 7 chapter range would be nice. What's up, Felipe Dritzkun? I know you don't watch anything, but you have to watch Arcane. Best show I've seen in a while. Glam agrees with that wholeheartedly. But I'm probably not going to watch it. Maybe I'll watch it at some point in time, but Dritz, I find it cool when the old Demon King is low on health. He uses the last of his flames, showing the age of his kind is dead. Yep. That's a good fight, too. Although it's not like a crazy fight. It's just more kind of like, oh, crap, what's going on here? Dritz, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power versus the One Piece live action. Who wins? Both are calling themselves the most expensive series ever by far. Costs over $1 billion. Oh, God. I think both of those are kind of like, I have no faith in the One Piece live action. I don't know about anyone else, but if you've been on Twitter, I don't know if you've seen like all of like the clips from like the actors coming out, but that stuff makes me cringe until my soul shrivels and dies. I know the intent behind it, but I just can't. I just feel like that's going to end in a fire. I am not very confident. They kind of have to prove themselves to me. Ugh. But I also care about One Piece, so I mean, it's like, But the Rings of Power probably has more ability to go down like the bad route in terms of like what makes a story bad. Oh, what's up, Happy? Thanks for the donation. What do I think about Vivi rejoining the Straw Hats? It kind of depends on what you mean by that. Like, when it comes to like, well, how would I feel if Vivi met the Straw Hats again? I would love it. Assuming that there was actual character interaction. Beyond the immediate hug. I love the dynamic between Vivi and the Straw Hats. Vivi, Nami, great friendship. Vivi, Luffy, great friendship. Like, the characters are great together. Vivi's one of the better characters in the story. Do I still have hope for Momo? This is a question asked by Virgil Hawkins. Hope in what regards, Virgil? Let me see here. Do I think the Toby Ropo is the worst villain group to date? What in fiction? What? Like what? What is it? Like, give me some more context of this. Just do you feel like One Piece is becoming the worst one of the big three the longer it goes on? Oh, here's the thing. I don't know. Um, Now, obviously, Naruto ended like garbage. Bleach, by all reports, and I didn't read the final arc, but sources around the league say that Bleach also ended like garbage. Um, so I can't really compare it to that, but it really depends. Like I would say that One Piece, out of all of those series, has had the worst fall from grace in terms of long term, where like just over the course of a decade, it just went like just nothing good. Um, but it hasn't reached the well, I mean Wano, but it hasn't fucked its ending yet. So One Piece at least has that over Naruto and Bleach, and you can debate what is worse, uh, fucking up the ending or just half the story. Because I don't know how would you feel if One Piece basically half the story wasn't really good, but then the ending was good. Like how do you compare that to like a Naruto or a Bleach? Is an interesting topic. Do I think that Sanji is stronger than Jinbei? Yes. Yes, I do. Do you think Momo still has potential as a character, and how do you feel about the idea of him becoming a Straw Hat? Well, as far as the idea of becoming a Straw Hat, I mean, I've been kind of pushing for Momo for Straw Hat, but when I still cared. Um, I was a Momo for Straw Hat guy since Zoe, so there's that. But in terms of potential as a character, oof, it's very very wishy washy right now. Like I said before, I really 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 dislike Momo getting older. I absolutely hate that idea. So it's kind of teetering on the edge for me. I have to see where Oda's gonna go with it. Why is Jinbei so beat up? Our no name fodder exhausting him. It's just it's it's not a matter of like fodder beating him up. It's kind of more of like a just something Oda's doing to show that oh my god, the battle's gone on for so long, people are hurt, everyone's hurt and exhausted. It's just kind of more of like a tool. Yo, why is there like 3 people in the chat asking to debate me on One Piece? What the fuck is going on? What is this? What do you think of James Harden quitting on another team, and what effect does it have on his legacy? Well, James Harden's legacy is kind of already weird. What do I think about the Brooklyn situation? Well, James Harden wanting out now, I don't know. For me, like, I'm trying to be fair to him, but at the same point in time, it's kind of hard to get like the taste out of my mouth that he literally just went to Brooklyn in order to get a free championship. But he is dealing with Kyrie, so it's kind of weird. As far as his legacy goes, the rest of the season will determine it. Whatever happens with the 76ers, we'll see. We'll see. But, James Harden was never on like the league of like, certain other great players. So there's that as well. Naruto ain't had a bad ending. That doesn't count. Naruto versus Sasuke and the quote-unquote final portion is good, but, we're referring to the Fourth Great Ninja War, right? Like the final arc. Naruto versus Sasuke is great, though, and, the actual ending of Naruto is great, but the final arc is not good. But when people say the ending of Naruto is crap, they're referring to the Fourth Great Ninja War. They're not referring to Naruto versus Sasuke. Well, Dritz, Attack on Titan was almost a perfect series until the end for almost everyone, and after that, many disliked the series. So if One Piece has a good ending, it could overshadow the bad things in the time skip. Yeah, I mean, if there's a good ending, it could quote unquote save the series for a lot of people. Endings are very, very important. Although I don't really see any evidence to say that the ending of One Piece would be good. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. But I also think it depends on the type of series that you have. For some series, endings are more important than anything else. Attack on Titan, the ending of that was very, very important to nail. And obviously that didn't happen, so there's that. One Piece, there's a case to be made that the journey is just as important as the ending, so. But, not messing the ending up is preferable to, messing it up. Just thinking about naming my first Elden character after Knight Artorias. Man was a legend. Artorias is the GOAT. Everyone knows this. Someone made a dojin of me and Matt B. Proof. Pics or no, I don't believe you. I would leave if I was with the Kyrie too. I think the Rockets thing was much worse in my opinion. Well, it's kind of weird because like these things build on top of each other. So yes, the Rocket situation was kind of crap, but then you get to go to exactly where you want to go, and you only play a total of 16 games with the entire roster, like the entire big three. You get hurt and you kind of fuck up and are like you're the reason that the team lost to the Bucks. And then you're still dealing with hamstring injuries, and now you want out of it because the drama. It's just Would you like if they added Kratos from Sony to the mythology of Smite? It depends. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I feel like that's kind of pushing it, though. That's like a franchise character. Yo, Jets, what do you think about the Suns this year? Plus, I'd like to interview you on my anime channel, bro. You have some great points on speaking. Oh, Jay Takashi69. What's up, man? What do I think about the Suns this year? So the Suns, I don't know, dude. After last year, I don't think they're able to win. Like, I think they're a great team, but I don't think they can win a championship. They have to prove it to me. I was rooting for Chris Paul to win the championship because I love CP3. And very, very unfortunate what happened in the finals. I knew that was going to happen too. Chris Paul is kind of cursed that way. Also, as far as interviewing me, you'd kind of have to hit me up on the side and talk about it in detail, Jay. What do you think about the tide of public opinion turning slightly on one of these days? Well, I don't. Maybe you're seeing something that I'm not seeing, Bryson, but I don't really see it turning in opinion. Dritz, do you know where Brago has been? Like, he's been dropping videos but streaming less and less. Also, what happened to Mario Kart Mondays and streams with the Blacks? I really miss those. Do I know where Brago's been? Yeah. I mean, long story short, man, like, Brago hasn't really talked to a whole lot of us recently, but he's been very busy. Brago's dealing with things IRL, and that's my guy for life. So whenever I see him, I'll see him, and it'll be like we talked yesterday. But Brago's just been busy. Simple as that. If Brago had a whole lot of time, he'd be doing a whole lot more stuff. So that's just the way it is, man. Do I think Naruto's ending would be better if he killed Sasuke? No. Absolutely not. Hey, Dritz, I don't want to put you in any controversy, but what's your opinion on the Mr. Mord situation? Is there a new situation? Eve, can you elaborate more on that so I can actually answer it? Because I'm not really sure what the situation is. As far as I know, like, that's sort of past. Like, what exactly are you asking? Do you think there's anything that Wano could do to make you change your mind or at least have a lighter opinion on it? Like, here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. That's the real answer. That's also the correct answer because I don't know. I don't want to say no. There's nothing it could do. Literally nothing could happen in the entire fucking story, and I wouldn't like it. The answer is I don't know because no amount of lore dumps is going to make me think Wano is a better arc than it is. Like, I don't care if we get a Joy Boy lore dump that doesn't fix the actual story of Wano. If I get a great character interaction between characters, I will like that, but is that going to be enough to change the entire arc and change everything that was set up for like 150 chapters? No. It made me feel better, maybe like a cookie that I get, but I don't know. Like, it would have to be something that I had no way of predicting would happen to have a lighter opinion on the arc. Jace, what would you recommend for someone who's interested in getting into comp sci, but school isn't really an option? I mean, if you're getting into computer science, that's basically spells to me programming, essentially, right? Computer science is mainly programming. If you want to get into programming, just take online courses, do independent projects, start making things. You don't need to go to school to be a programmer to get a high-paying job. You just need to be good at programming and to know what you're doing, essentially. Create a portfolio, stuff like that. So I would just watch YouTube videos, to be honest. That's what I would do. Watch YouTube videos, actually spend time, sit down, learn the code, maybe buy some books, maybe even go take a few online classes that you can take at your own leisure that isn't like in a classroom setting. If you get good at programming, then you're good at programming. Also, Fetus, for your Sanji versus Queen Bad thing, I'm going to explain that later. I'm not going to go into the details now, but the TLDR is that the actual fight itself is bad. Like, the combat side of it is bad, and the quote-unquote themes and symbolism and meaning of the battle also is bad as well. Because Oda was going for something good, but then completely fucked it and became meaningless. Do I think any One Piece character could beat Femto? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know everything that Femto can do, but Femto is basically a god. So right now, I probably lean towards Femto. Yeah, I know, Grammy. The Twitch streams were great. I mean, we all had a fun time hanging out with Brago, but the true mark of friendship is being able to understand what people's situations are and just not let it affect you, right? So, it's not a big deal. Whenever Brago is free or has time to come hang out with the boys more, we're gonna welcome him back like it was like nothing happened. That's my guy. All gay. Dritz, how do you feel? How do you feel like? I want to say? How do I word this? Dritz, how do you feel about Oda putting a storyline in a chapter, then not talking about it for so long? Like, we still don't know what happened with Sabo, and it's been like 70 chapters. So how do I feel about that? I mean, that doesn't really bug me. Like, the idea of doing that isn't really bad. Like, people get burnt out, though, whenever things aren't really delivering. I'll say that. Like, the long con of always teasing your audience and giving them no answers kind of falls by the wayside whenever what you are giving them isn't keeping their interest. So you'll notice that there are some people in the community that are kind of like really pissed off at always getting questions and never exciting answers from Oda when that's what they really want. But they wouldn't necessarily feel that way if what they were getting was good enough to keep them entertained and they look forward to more questions and answers that they could theorize about. So it's an indication that the story isn't really delivering if you're getting mystery fatigue. And naturally, as the story heads towards its end, you want to get more answers than you do questions because it feels like you're progressing through the story. Only getting questions and getting kind of dick teased isn't always the best thing to do. It just depends on execution of the story. Dritz, why do you think the Scabbards miss so hard for a lot of people? It's a good question. Why do the Scabbards miss so hard? Well, part of the reason is that they don't really connect to any characters that people actually care about. There's no Scabbard that's connected to a Straw Hat. There was the potential for one from Punk Hazard, which I talked about in my video, Sanji and Kinemon. That didn't go anywhere. And if the Scabbards are standalone characters, the more you try to make people like them by forcing them to like a character, the more that's going to backfire, generally speaking. The Scabbards aren't particularly interesting, and a lot of their plot lines don't really go anywhere in a satisfying manner. They're kind of used as just Odin dick-sucking vessels, rather than their own individual characters. Like, remember how everyone loved Ashura Doji, right? Like, we all liked Ashura Doji at the beginning because he was, like, jaded and like, he had resentment, and then his plotline was basically resolved in one chapter with, like psych, huh, lol, I'm back. It doesn't matter. From that point on, Ashura Doji wasn't really cool anymore, right? Because, the one thing people liked about him kind of became redundant. Same with Denjiro. Denjiro was an interesting character, and then everything he did didn't even matter. He was just some side character. Oda didn't really deliver on, like, the Scabbards on what they could have been, Kiku, a nothing character. Raizo is Raizo. No need to explain more there. I actually thought we were actually going to get a little bit of Raizo. I never thought it was going to be good, but I thought we were actually going to get some more of Raizo in Wano, based off of some dialogue we had in Zo, but that didn't go anywhere. It's just miss after miss, man. And once you spend so long after that just trying to, like, put the Scabbards into quote-unquote dire situations and then kind of running back on them, you build yourself up for failure. You can't have these Scabbards have all these missed plot lines and then send them into battle and then fake kill them like 4 times and then expect the audience is going to continue liking those characters. Like, you just set yourself up for failure doing that. Not a good strategy. Also, what's up, Zay? Thanks for the $5. Am I gonna be watching Spy Family? You already fucking know I'm watching Spy Family. Did I get bamboozled by fat 50 Cent during the halftime show? LOL. I thought it was a substitute. Yo, he's not fat. His face is, dude. Did you see his torso's slim? He's actually fit, but he's just old, dude. So like body weight is distributed weirder whenever you're older. It's hard to get rid of like the upper body fat whenever you get older. He's actually not fat, but he did not look good in that halftime show. He was struggling while he's upside down, but you know. Okay, E followed up and said, not the new situation, but a previous one. Sen kind of explained to me how Mort said something against Wano, and I don't know how everything went up in flames. About how, I mean, this is basically like the Twitter situation with Morge, right? Where, you know, I mean, we all know, I mean, if, I don't even watch Morge's videos, but I talk to Morge. Like, I know all of his deepest, darkest secrets and inner thoughts. But everyone who watches his videos should basically know that, you know, for Morge, he's very adamant. He's as passionate as me when it comes to One Piece, just in a different way. That he thinks that, you know, the flaws of the arc can't be redeemed if, you know, what he thinks are problems are fixed. So the situation came basically from him kind of saying more than he should have. But I mean, his opinion's not changed or anything as far as I know. So as far as the Morge drama go, I mean, Morge has been very, very blatant with, I think, his stances, you know, for the most part. I think everyone understands where he's at. Also, Christian just had a good comment that was about the comp size stuff. Oh, actually, that was a good comment. What was it? Jesus Christ, I just skipped down to the bottom. Fuck. Oh, okay. Christian said, you don't need to go to school, but you need to put in school amount of work. Great saying, Christian. Completely agree with that. If you want something, you got to put in the work. Unless you're mean, you can scam your way into better situations. Dritz, what do you think is Oda's plan with Kid? Apparently, he got off-screen character development before characterization. So, I actually don't have an answer to this. Because, I'm going to be honest. I was going to tweet about this, but I was like, fuck, I'm not going to cause any drama. I have no idea what Oda is trying to go for with Kid. So if people who watch the top 30 remember, I said in the top 30 that it was my opinion that what Oda thought he was doing with Kid is that Oda thought that shit was cool. And that's what I thought was the case. But a few chapters ago, Oda made it public that he is self-aware that Kid is lame. But then he's still doing things, and like there's like there's so many conflicting statements about Kid supposed to be lame and Oda trying to make him cool. I have no idea what the fuck Oda is trying to do with Kid, but it is not working and he is gone forever. Like, just look at the distinction. Like, what is Oda trying to say with Kid? He's trying to give him shine, but his shine isn't good. He's not even trying to give him a character, so he doesn't even care about, like, the actual character of Kid. Like, Law comes off as way more relevant than him, and people have to, like, fight for details to defend Kid. Like, what is the intent here? Is Kid shit? Are we supposed to not like him? Or are we supposed to like him? Like, what is it? I don't know. Oda knows that the bull attacks are lame, but he does them anyway. So what are we supposed to be there for? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. It is the most weird thing to do to a character. And even if it's intentional, it is not good for that character. Also, $5 from Valdez says, "Yo, I know I'm late, but I gotta ask, what was the point of Big Mom and Wano? I'm like dumbfounded. I don't get it." That's a good question. Why did Big Mom need to be in this arc? We still don't know. We still do not know. I don't think Big Mom is done for the arc. Like, I don't think the next time we're gonna see Big Mom is whenever Kaido's defeated and she's like, Kaido's defeated, guess I gotta leave. See you on Elbaf, Spider-Man. I don't know. I think there's something left undone for Big Mom. But Big Mom is also a giant question mark. How many things could have been better in Wano if Oda didn't include this bitch? I don't know. Oh, let me see here. Let me see here. Just going through comments, guys. I have a lot of catching up to do. Let me see. Do I have any hope for Mihawk and his fight versus Zoro? Eh. Hope. It depends on what you mean. Like, I'm not really feeling confident about these legacy characters right now. I have to admit, I am not feeling confident about Shanks. I am not feeling confident about Mihawk. I'm not feeling confident about any of these characters. Like, to explain my perspective, like, I have been given no reason to assume or to blindly believe that something's going to be better when the things that I'm already seeing aren't good to begin with. So it would be odd of me to just hope beyond the reason for hope at this point. Oda's got to prove it to me. He's got to do stuff with Mihawk. That's good, right? He's got to do things before that. The fight with Mihawk's not going to be good if you don't do things with Mihawk prior to the fight, right? So it's a lot of that's up in the air, but for me, there's kind of like a film of negativity around it. So he just got to prove it to me. What are my problems with Zoro and Robin's fights? I mean, I'll get to that whenever I talk about it, but basically, well, especially with Zoro's fight doesn't deliver really on anything. On any of the concepts that were actually interesting in the fight, they aren't delivered on. The fight sequencing itself is okay. The choreography is okay. The meaning of the fight, kind of bad, though. Yeah. Robin's fight is hilarious. I see so many people defend Robin's fight. They act like it's good, but like literally the fight is a giant meme that for me, I think people just like it just because Robin quote unquote did something. But like the fight mechanics and the fight logic are just absolutely horrible. Robin's form is shit. I'm sorry. Robin's form is ass. What does it even do? Why was it needed? Why was Fishman Karate only useful for punching a ceiling? Like what was the like dude, that fight is whack. I'm sorry. Like no way. I'll go into details whenever I talk about it in Wano, so I'm going to leave it kind of bare bones, just generic statements. But outside of like a cool looking panel that was like basically just regular Robin just with horns, not that good. How was high school for me? I mean, high school was fun. I mean, high school raw. Lots of video games. Lots of playing backyard sports. Dritz, who do you prefer? Favorite, not best? Guts or Griffith? Guts. You already know. Guts is my favorite character of all time in anything ever. All right? Guts. Oh, jeez, I'm so far. I'm gonna catch up real quick. Let me see. What was the next last donation that I saw? Okay, so I'm gonna catch up, guys. If I missed your comments, just go ahead and post them again. I'll answer questions as I see down. Let me see. Jitsu, you were not hyped about Kobe at all today? Why would I... Stop this. Stop it. I still got Dragon, though. Do I? Have I started any new series yet? Yeah, I mean, I started The Girl from the Other Side. So far, enjoying it a lot. It's a question I've wanted to ask you for a while. Who had it worse in terms of writing, Sanji in Whole Cake Island or Kid in Wano? I kind of want to say Sanji in Whole Cake Island. I also don't think that I think this I'll talk about this whenever I get to Whole Cake Island and Wano, but I think this cover story isn't actually not even good for Sanji either. I talked about this. It's actually kind of funny because I talked about this during the Whole Cake Island days about how Sanji's entire purpose was that he wanted to rescue the Vince Smokes and make sure they were safe. But as soon as they get out of the castle, while they're still in Big Mom's territory, he just kind of like lets them go with no guarantee of safety and goes like, "I've done my job." And the next thing that happens is that they get captured. Like two of them get captured and they have to run away defeated. Like no plot in the story around it or anything. Yonji and Niji are just like locked up like some sex slaves and gimps. If this is another character, they would be dead. And great job saving them in smokes, man. Sick. Jitsu is the best female character in Berserk. It's probably, I mean, personal preference. I don't think there's like a definitive best over one. I suppose you like more. You make the argument for Casca, you make the argument for Farness. It's basically between them, though. Who was more gay, Eric or Quietly? I actually kind of want to say Quietly here. See, the thing with Quietly is that Quietly like tries so hard to like not be gay that I suspect that he's gay. Dritz, do you think Kid will be good when he becomes the arc villain the Straws have to defeat? He's not going to be an arc villain. An arc villain? The Kid gets an entire arc? Not possible. Not possible, in my opinion. I don't think there's any room in the story for Kid to be an arc villain. If Kid is supposed to be defeated at some point, he's not an arc villain. He is a complementary piece to an arc. I answer that in my video, Wayne. Also, the answer to that question is no, noob. I don't. I talked about it numerous times before, but Puck got fucking hoed. How many fights out of 10 does Lucci lose to Golden Age Zod? Uh, I'm not gonna. I don't even know how to answer that. Assuming Big Meme is saved for Luffy, what needs to happen for readers to care or feel hyped about that fight? I've talked about this extensively with Christian and Eric, but I'm of the belief that I don't think there is basically any way to undo 200 chapters of fucking up Big Mom to make her into a legitimate final threat. If Big Mom's in Elbaf, I don't. I think she's kind of more of like an important side piece than the actual main point of Elbaf. I don't think Big Mom can be a complete final villain in the way that people think that she's going to be. I don't think you can build her up again because, in my opinion, you're just going down. If you go from Wano, which is quote unquote a war against two Yonko, and Luffy 1v1's Kaido, how do you go down and decrease in scale and threats and importance to Big Mom and make it feel like it's just as important when you just showed Big Mom being defeated by two supernova that are below Luffy's level? How do you do that? It feels weird. I don't know how you undo what you've done with Big Mom. And the thing is, Big Mom's memeage is so entwined with her character that it's never going to disappear. That's why I don't think she's going to be a serious, like, final. She's not going to be the opponent for Elbaf if she's in Elbaf. Because I don't think Luffy gains anything from beating her, to be honest. I don't think Luffy has to prove anything. I don't think that, like in my mind, from the way that the story is being written, there isn't going to be a doubt afterwards of like Luffy needed help in order to beat Kaido, so like this victory doesn't count. Like he's fighting Kaido for the longest period of time and doing the most work and fighting equally for the longest period of time. There's no asterisk yet on the fight that's like Luffy needs to prove he can defeat a Yonko. Luffy got the advanced conquers. He's got everything. What does beating Big Mom actually give Luffy? And what's and like I talked about this before with other people, is that, you know, what is the point of this, the theme of this arc where Big Mom's and Kaido's eras, they're over. The old generation, they're gone. It's time for the new generation. How do you have this theme beat Kaido, have Big Mom be defeated, just to have her in the next arc to get like defeated again? How do you do that? It seems like it seems completely counterintuitive. Let me see here. Do I think Big Mom is the weakest Yonko? Yes, I do. I do. Have I read the first Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie? I have not. Yeah, I promised someone I would upload this stream this time, Pokemon, so it will be up. Do I see Big Mom being saved by her crew? Don't get me started on them, or the Marines would go get to her first. Here's the thing. Big Mom's crew is still like they're not forgotten. They've been horrendously sidetracked on Twitter, but they're here for a reason. I don't the thing is with Big Mom is so weird as I don't know. Does her crew come and save her? Pick her up? Does she run away? Because like just think about it. Like at some point for Big Mom to get to Elbaf, she basically has to run away. So the only way that would really happen is if like admirals show up and like everyone runs away. Because otherwise, why would Big Mom just leave? Like either she is ridiculously injured to the point where she can't fight anymore and needs to make a tactical retreat, or something literally forces her out of the arc. Which both seem kind of, I don't know. If that happens, once again, where do you go with Big Mom? How do you succeed with her? Because from my point of view, if Luffy beating Big Mom is like a waste of time. And it's probably going to happen. It's just like, And the other weird thing about Big Mom is, I talked about this as well, but I'm just going to say it because you guys haven't heard this, is that her crew is meaningless at this point. Like, if Big Mom's in Elbaf, her crew shouldn't be there. And the reason I say that is because the crew is now, her crew is beneath the Straw Hats crew. That crew doesn't matter anymore. They don't serve a purpose in being overcome. All of the Straw Hats collectively are stronger than that crew already. So, like, fighting commanders, this stuff doesn't matter because they're on the same level or maybe even below of what they just faced. So, like, you get nothing. Zoro fighting Smoothie, who cares? He just beat King. Sanji fighting, so, like, these characters are too weak at this point. So they can't really be in Elbaf as, like, actual opponents. They would have to be, like, just like, Mama, we're chasing Mama. Ooh, goo goo ga. Just, you know, eh. But Katakuri Future Sight, it doesn't matter if Katakuri shows up. Like, Katakuri is not going to be an enemy anymore. Katakuri is an ally at this point. Like, you wouldn't have Katakuri to show up just so that Luffy could beat Katakuri again, or that Zoro could fight Katakuri. That makes no sense. So the crews aren't antagonists. So, like, it would just have to be Big Mom. Which is why I think that, like, Big Mom would be an important side piece to the arc rather than, like, the main thing. You know? Christian says, what if it's a Kuma situation and Luffy beats her just before the end of the arc after the battle is over by like 3 days? I mean, like, I don't think it would take that long to beat her, Christian. But you know, if that's the case, then it's like, once again, I don't think it really serves a great purpose. Like, it's I don't know, I'm split on it because it's like, yeah, Luffy said he would beat Big Mom, but like, he said he would thrash her over the New World, but that's kind of like already being happened. It's like, I don't know. It feels weird because I don't feel like Luffy has to prove anything to Big Mom. I don't feel like Big Mom serves as a good growth point for Luffy. I don't think Luffy grows after beating Big Mom. I don't think Luffy, like, it's just adding on to things. I don't think it's like significant in of itself. Which is why I'm still not sold on a Big Mom being completely done in Wano. That's why because like the oddities surrounding her, I'm not completely sold that she's 100% done in Wano. If Cat joins, is overpowered. No, Cat's not going to join. He's just an ally for forever, right? So what that basically means is that at the end of the story, whenever it's everyone versus everyone, Cat will be an ally. Can't you say the same thing for the Navy, though? Yeah, you can. But, like, here's the thing. For the headcanons, Christian, is that, like, the meaningful fights, they change whenever we talk about the Navy, because Luffy's not going to defeat all of the admirals. Like, the only admiral that we even point in Luffy's direction is, like, one of the only admirals that has the ability to be stronger than, like, the Yonkos. Or to be something so that Luffy could overcome, which would be a Kainu. And even then, the popular opinion is that, Luffy won't be the one to defeat a Kainu. They're just there in the story to be handled by other characters, right? At this point in time, until proven otherwise, the thing that Luffy has to overcome after Blackbeard would be, like, the entire point of the series, which is, like, the Void Century stuff, Emu, if Emu's a villain, like, that's what's there's left for Luffy. So that's why even the Admiral things, it makes more sense, because the Admirals don't need to be defeated by Luffy. And even if an admiral was to be defeated by Luffy, then it's not going to be an arc either, right? Like, if we put Big Mom into the same vein as the admiral, it's like, well, if they're just there to defeat, then the admirals can't be defeated. You're not going to have an entire arc to defeating Kuzan or Kizaru just for Luffy, right? Like, they're going to be pieces onto an arc where someone defeats them, and it's part of a larger narrative. No, top tiers aren't easy fights, but it's not about, like, how necessarily, like, extreme diff. It's, there's more of, like, a narrative purpose to it, right? Like, Luffy defeating Kaido in this arc is greater than just Luffy has to defeat a Yonko, even though that's part of, like, it's, there's a greater story to it. Luffy has to, like, reach the next level. That's why it's, like, weird for me to place Big Mom as the most important factor into Elbaf, just so that Big Mom gets properly defeated in a power scheme. Which is another one of the reasons why, Shanks and Blackbeard being next makes more sense in terms of, like, you increase the scale of things, because there's at least reason to believe that they're like the next step above, right? Like, Shanks' crew, all better. Luffy has to, like, after Luffy defeats Kaido, then Luffy could make the stance of, yes, my crew is on this level. I've completed my promise to Shanks. Now we can meet, and then we go on to bigger and better things. Defeating Kaido and then going to defeat Big Mom is kind of like, is it overkill at that point? Maybe Big Mom's not supposed. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know. Well, Christian, that's assuming that's the thing, though. Like, if with the Big Mom stuff, is that if she's an Elbaf, then she'll be like a side piece. Like, she won't be like everything's leading to a climactic finale with Big Mom. The entire arc is like blah 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 leading up, because I don't think you can really do that and accomplish or succeed with that. A while ago at this point, Morge made the Shanks and Elbaf theory. I think that makes as much sense in terms of scaling up, especially because I don't think Elbaf's going to be a long arc. If Big Mom's in Elbaf, then either it's still a shortish arc and things get handled pretty quickly, or Oda has to make it into a long, drawn-out arc, which is like, is that what we need? Do we need another long arc for Big Mom just so she can be defeated? Oh shit! I dropped my cap. That's why I like Christian. That's why I'm saying like I'm kind of like in the ether right now when it comes to Big Mom. Because the writing on the wall is like, oh, Big Mom will be back for another thing. But when it comes to the story, it's like, ugh, you know? Prove himself to the Giants, but like I think is I don't even know if Luffy's gonna have to prove himself to the Giants. Like, shouldn't that be Usopp's job at that point? I know it's weird, Christians, because it's like I don't know. Big Mom's always been a weird character. I feel like her handling is it's just not going to be the same as what's happening in like right now. You know, because I don't think she'll be captured or anything. It's just like ultimately all of these things make sense. Big Mom could show up, Luffy could fight her in Elbaf, but I can't like. Is it gonna be good? It doesn't really seem like it. It seems like it's kind of like going, just happening, you know. Because like I said, I think Oda's done irreparable, damage to Big Mom. So like something ridiculous would have to happen for like faith to be restored in terms of making Big Mom a believable actual threat after Luffy essentially beat someone on her level. Question is, what more could Luffy unlock after defeating Kaido? Maybe Awakening, but I'm starting to feel like that's overkill. Well, Awakening is Luffy's gonna have everything, right? Luffy's gonna have Awakening. He's going to have like here's the thing we've talked about. This is that like a lot of the Yonko, they're there to inhibit Luffy's growth, right? At the end of the day, even though the writing around it is blah blah blah, like Kaido's here so that Luffy can get Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Essentially, that was the next step for Luffy. Get Advanced Conqueror's Haki. We know someone like Shanks is going to have like what Kaido has, Shanks has more of. Because obviously if Shanks is special and he's treated as, a legacy character, Oda's going to give him the goods. So whatever Shanks has, Luffy has to get. That's very important. And obviously there's Awakening. So basically, two future power-ups are, whatever the next level of Haki is, and then Awakening. And then you complete like the everything. Luffy proving he is ready for Blackbeard. But at the same time, though, Christian, it's like, does Luffy beating Big Mom prove he's ready for Blackbeard? Because regardless of whatever's going to happen, Blackbeard's going to be stronger than Luffy. Like, Luffy will always head into a climactic fight, typically as like the underdog. Usually, like he's going to be going into Blackbeard as like an underdog. They're not going to be equals, I don't think. Blackbeard will have ascended so that Luffy is like fighting, as is stereotypically the case with what Oda wants. And what would be a better way to prove you're like ready, quote unquote, ready for the next step is like, you need that moment of acknowledgement between Shanks and Luffy, right? That's kind of like the thing. And what leads me to think about this more, Christian, is that, Shanks said we're gonna meet soon. So how soon is soon? Is soon Elbaf soon? That's what it seems like. I don't know. It's at the end of the arc that Shanks show up. But that's kind of like the stamp of approval that I need. It's like, for before the Blackbird stuff, we need that stamp of approval from Shanks. Like, yep, you good, G. I don't know if Big Mom needs to be that. No hope, we need that step. But that's like a community thing, Christian. Like, I don't think the story is making the case that Luffy needs to prove himself in a 1v1. I think that's already happening with Kaido. Like, as a community, we can be like, We want Luffy from beginning to end to fight someone and there to be no asterisks. But that's just not how One Piece is at this point in time. So I don't think the story is trying to move into a direction where Luffy needs to prove himself in a 1v1 from beginning to end against Big Mom. But it could still happen. That's why I say is that I'm trying to make the arguments against it right now, but I know full well the opposite side has, because the story speaks for itself, right? Is that, Big Mom's dialogue, Luffy said he would beat her, would Oda go back on that? It's just kind of just Oda he's got a tall task ahead of him, is what I'll say. He's got a tall task ahead of him. Also, Glam, I'm working from home today, so yeah, I'll be in the hall. No, at this point, Christian, it doesn't matter for the power structure. The power structure when we talked about is that it's important. It was important for Kid and Law to not defeat Big Mom, but it's not critical to maintaining the power structure for Luffy to, from beginning to end, defeat Big Mom. That's not a thing to me. Because, you can imagine in your head, if Big Mom gets to Elbaf and we're going to deal with the Mother Carmel stuff, is that there's numerous directions that we could go into where Big Mom could potentially get redeemed. She could die, quote unquote, tragic villain. She gets more amnesia. She has freakouts during the fight where there's another asterisk where Big Mom wasn't at her best. Thing is, I don't think the story needs to prove that Luffy needs to beat Big Mom 1v1, no asterisks. Because I don't really think there's going to be a point in time from this going forward where there isn't an asterisk. Whenever Luffy fights Blackbeard, I think there's going to be an asterisk on that fight. I think that's just something that Oda likes to do. When Luffy defeats the final villain, whoever that is, Blackbeard or not, Emu or not, there's going to be an asterisk. There's going to be if this didn't happen, Luffy wouldn't have won, maybe. That's just something that Oda likes to put in. Someone has to legit beat her, though. I don't even know if I agree with that, Christian, because like I was just talking about, I think this is something that Oda likes to do. Nothing is as it seems. No one has gotten their legacy completely in the most badass way. Everyone's a fraud in some way in this story. No one's exactly what they seem. Can I see Oda in the future writing someone losing their King's Haki due to the being proven wrong, such world war being changed? No, I don't think so. Have I seen the semifinal of Demon Slayer? Nope, I have not. I mean, I saw a clip of it, and I wasn't I wasn't really moved by it, but I haven't seen it in its entirety. Drew, it's been a while. Might as well ask an IT question. I have a help desk interview coming up. Any experience with that? Yeah, I've worked help desk. I mean, the most important thing with being on the help desk is being able to talk to people. It's not necessarily about the knowledge, although knowledge helps. It's mainly about people skills. If you're able to talk to people and kind of guide them in the right manner, then that's the most important thing, because anywhere you go, you're going to have to learn things as to how their technology works. But the most important thing is displaying a basic level of IT competence and just people skills. Jits, what's your opinions on how the reincarnation stuff affects Naruto's legacy as a character? Does it ruin his character for you? A bit, yeah. It's also a personal preference. I don't particularly like that sort of stuff, and I don't necessarily like how it was executed in Naruto. Would I agree that Naruto has some good written female characters like Tsunade, Kushina, and Lady Chio? Yeah, I'd agree on Tsunade. I probably have to reread. I was never a fan of Kushina, and I liked Lady Chio though. Another question would be, what role would the supernova play in the rest of the story, especially since we're near the end? Well, I mean, Law's an ally. We know that. I think most of the supernova are going to end up being allies. The only question mark is Kid, because what does Oda want to accomplish with Kid? Was there ever an actual reason why Oda made Kid be the person that went after and lose his arm to Shanks? What's the long-term plan there? Because right now, Kid is looking kind of sketch. I can't say about Kid, but as far as every other supernova goes, I think they'll just end up being a helper by the end of the story, with Law playing the more significant role out of them. Is Kaneki a great character? I think so. I loved Kaneki. But actually, there's something I want to talk about real quick. Is that it's what Glam's talking about. What I talked about is that everything in One Piece now has an asterisk. All of the characters aren't exactly what they seem, and that's not always a good thing. Is what I wanted to point out. Is that sometimes the audience would prefer if a character is what they seem, because the alternative isn't as exciting as what the audience actually wants. So not everyone having an asterisk on them is sometimes detrimental to the likability of that character and the overall satisfaction that the readers feel when things are involved with that character. Dritz, wasn't Kid allegedly the most important supernova whom Oda had plans for? Allegedly. Yeah. I mean, obviously that seems to have changed a bit. Does it not? I mean, it seems quite obvious for now that the poster child is Law. Which is like I said, it's like if the original plans were for Kid, what are those plans? Like like I said, what are we supposed to feel for Kid? Are we supposed to hate him? Feel disappointed? Are we supposed to like him? I don't know. I don't know. Sen says, Dritz, why did Oda remove the time bomb factor this early? Was it not a time bomb and more of just a way to use it against Big Mom? Well, the thing is, I read the chapter just before I started streaming Sen, and I read the spoilers, obviously, because I read the spoilers, and I told Eric and Christian this, and they said that this wasn't the case, but I read the chapter, and you can actually see it. The bombs are still there. There's a panel after Big Mom falls down where it just shows Yamato next to a bunch of frozen bombs. So those bombs are still there. They all, like, none of them fell on Big Mom. Just like that one or whatever. Because Yamato even says, like, the one bomb blew up. No, author intent matters list. It's author intent matters. That's what I'm talking about. Is that like, oh, it's up to the individual? No, but you can quite obviously tell when what like an author's plan is for a character. Like, is this character supposed to be hated? Are you supposed to like this character? Is Oda including things that you're supposed to enjoy? With Kid, it's none of it's good, which is the issue. Yeah, the fire is gone, but the bombs are still there. So they're not, like, they all didn't fall on Big Mom, just like one or two did. So, like, the bombs are technically still there. But as far as them being done, they may not be done. Who knows? If the thing is, like, if that's also weird, because why not just have all of the bombs fall on Big Mom? Like, does it matter if one falls more than like 20? These bombs that raw? None of it is good. How does that inform what Oda intends you to feel? It's a question. I don't know what Oda intends me to feel. What I'm saying is that regardless of whatever happens, is that Kid's not a good character, and that Kid has clear problems. Now, it could be intentional that Kid is supposed to be a bad character. I don't think so, because I don't think most authors intentionally make their characters poorly written. I don't think that's supposed to be something that most authors go for. Maybe Oda's trying to set the trend, which is why these are these questions. Is Kid supposed to be this badly written? I doubt it. What makes Kid a bad character, poorly written? No established motivations. He changes on his own motivations. He does things contrary to his own stated dreams and desires. I mean, that's pretty obvious. From Udon to Onigashima, Kid has been doing things that he said he wouldn't do, but he does anyway, with no character arc and no characterization and no beginning or end to what happened. That's what makes him bad. Character motivations, not consistent with what he's actually doing. It's hard to write a chaotic character. It is hard to write a chaotic character. That's true, Christian. Well, let's just go over it, right? Here's the thing. Kid, right? Established. Kid's motivation in Wano is to defeat Kaido. Shit that happened with Killer. He was defeated by Kaido, put into a prison. What does he say with Luffy at the end of Act 1? I'll get you, Kaido. His entire revenge motive is to defeat Kaido. Right? Correct? Yes. Kid also says, I've been betrayed by Apu. I'm never joining an alliance ever again. Fuck you guys. I'm going to do it myself. Kid off screen finds his crew and ship somewhere, which is not in any of the established prisons in Wano, and conveniently shows up on the exact same day, not by intention, but by convenience, like everyone else, shows up on the exact same day that Luffy and the Alliance are going to attack Onigashima, joins up with them, becomes their partner with no character arc, nothing to change his character, goes to the rooftop with no plan to defeat Kaido, nothing different. He didn't learn anything. He didn't get stronger. He didn't even know you could hurt Kaido. He was just going to go up there and throw metal at him, and the entire time he's gawking at Luffy, and then doing his own thing, says, I'll defeat you, Kaido, then goes and fights Big Mom. And now he won't be there for Kaido. Like that's pretty set in stone. He flip flops. No, Christian, that's cap. He didn't. He at least let Luffy go. He never hated Luffy to begin with. Luffy saved his life, so he's like, okay, later. And then he said, I'm never joining an alliance again. And then nothing happened to change his mind. There's no character arc with Kid. If there's a beginning and an end, but there's no B point, if there's A and C and no B, it's bad. Because there's no story. Kid ends up in one place and starts in one place and ends up in another with nothing to explain it. He's trash. Yeah, he's saying don't tell me what to do. He's being tsundere, and he's doing exactly what people tell him to do. He's like, oh, I'm not letting you get up there with Luffy. Luffy will be the one to defeat Kaido. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's doing things contrary to his character. His character sucks. But that's him being a tsundere, though, List. Oh, not fighting alongside someone is not joining the alliance. Being a team player and helping them do what they want to do while ignoring your own motivations doesn't mean that you're helping somebody. It just means something else because what? Like, no, he's helping them. They're in an alliance. It doesn't matter. They're working together. I'm not making sense? I'm not making sense. What? Dude. Okay. Working together is not an alliance. A coworker is not you an alliance. So for them to be an alliance and help each other, the only way that exists for you, List, is if Kid literally says, we're in an alliance now, Monkey D. Luffy of the Straw Hat Pirates, and I'm helping you because I want to be your friend. No. Look beyond that, dude. They have a common interest, right? And right. A common, and guess what was the common interest that that created the Law and Luffy alliance? They had a common interest, and they're working towards it. Same thing happening with Kid, except Kid's being a tsundere. Kid literally left Kaido to Luffy and is trusting Luffy to defeat him, even though Kid was the one that wanted to defeat him to get quote unquote revenge. Like, Kid's character has shifted numerous times. And this is without all of, like, the things that Oda does to make Kid not look good. This is strictly just character writing. So was Smoker in alliance with Luffy and Alabasta and Punk Hazard? He helped them. Yeah, Smoker doesn't hate Luffy. No. This is exactly what I memed, and you said I'm not making any sense. There does not have to be a formal, written in paper agreement for them to be in a quote unquote alliance. If you want to play the lines and go to the technicalities, no, dude, just like listen to what I'm saying. Look beyond it. They're in an alliance because all of them are working together for a common goal. There doesn't need to be a contract, a max contract with $205 million or something like that to make this any more obvious than it is. So the Marines and Strats were in alliance on Punk Hazard? Yes. Yes. Yes, they were. They actually were, though. Smoker literally fought so he wouldn't have to owe Law anything and fought for Law's own stuff. He didn't say, fuck Law. I just conveniently grabbed his heart and gave it back to him was the reason I was fighting. Sanji led the everyone, and at the end of the arc, they were all friends. They ate together. All of the Marines were like, oh, we love them, blah, blah, blah. Like, they liked them. Like, there doesn't need to be a contract. It's just what the story is showing you. Which is why I say that kid has problems. Oh my god, List, stop being so absorbed by this definition of alliance. They were working together towards a common goal. That's the entire point. It's an alliance. It's like, hey, let's team up. We'll team up, but just don't call this an alliance because then that'll make me angry. Dude, come on. So Kid is supposed to wait patiently while Law and Luffy are fighting. No, like, dude, come on. This is not really hard. Like, what I'm saying is that what's happening with Kid is happening without there being a character arc or writing to explain it. Kid is going contrary to his own beliefs, and that's why I say there are writing issues with his character. If the intent behind Kid was to, oh, he has to learn how to trust people properly again, then make that into a story, write it, and even then people still might not like it, but at least it'd be part of the story, is that Kid is doing things he's like the opposite of what he said he would. Like, that's the entire point. Like, we don't, come on, playa. Exactly. As Virgil said, Kid has been actively working together. It's not just a coincidence or a random sequence of attacks. That doesn't answer the question. He's not learning to trust people. He has a guy that he wants to fight, and he's fighting him. He's not fighting him. He's not fighting him. What? That's the. He's not. Do I think Cole was right in saying One Piece has reached fairy tale levels of ridiculousness? Well, I haven't really read fairy tale, so I can't comment on fairy tale stuff. All right, that would be unfair to that series because I don't really know much about it. Kid literally went from the rooftop. Luffy like ordered people to leave Kaido to him, and Kid's even saying Luffy's got Kaido. Blah blah blah. Like the point is like Law has Kid has no reason to do any of the things that people are telling him to do, but he's doing them anyway. Like it's the thing is he has his own revenge and own desires against Kaido, and he's not acting on them. Right? It'd be like saying like Zoro wants to defeat Mihawk to accomplish his dream, but someone else said they would do it, but it's still Zoro accomplishing it because at the end of the day, Mihawk gets defeated. So that's fine, right? Like comp comp bros, you're literally like you're pulling like one of the lamest cards on me, which is like the what do you know what happens in the future? Well, maybe like no, I'm talking about like the issues in the story at the present time. It is very unlikely that Kid, after exhausting everything he has and using all of his endurance to fight Big Mom, is going to go back onto the roof and fight Kaido when they're 1v1ing each other. Do I have proof? Do I know the future manuscripts of One Piece? Is Kid going to go back onto the roof and fight Kaido again after already exhausting everything that he has? Maybe he does. That doesn't fix the problem. Right? Also, shout out to Donatello for the $5. Appreciate you, friend. I'm not gonna get into voice chat right now, list. I'm probably gonna end the stream in about 10 minutes or so. I've been streaming for 2 hours already. Also, Matt, are you actually gonna stream some Apex? What do I think about the part of the One Piece being in Wano? That was in the Viz translation, right? That part, like in the T what the hell are they called? The scans didn't say that, but the official did, right? They said something about a piece. All right, bet list. Well, using that ability exhausts him, KG. That's why he's all huffing and puffing. Only in Viz. I mean, to be determined on what that means. That's fine though. I don't really got much to say about that other than that it happened and it was said. How will Mr. Morge feel if the raid doesn't fail and Wano has no tension? Well, I think Morge just talked about this, has he not, with you guys? Like, Morge just basically said that he'd be upset, right? I mean, I know more than that, but you'll find out because it's more obvious now than ever that the raid is not failing. Big Mom has been quote unquote defeated. The 1v1 with Kaido will come to its end. The rest of the fights have been wrapped up. Even the legendary Raizo versus Fukurokoju, that's been wrapped up. So everything seems to be coming to an end. Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. I was just talking to him for like 20 minutes, Leo. I don't know where you were at. Pretty motherfucker. I've talked to Morch about this myself. You know, about how even if the raid fails, is that, you know, at this point it might be too little too late because you extend the arc by such a degree that it might not even be satisfying to experience. Thinking emoji, says Bensei Sama Wrench. Why are you scared, Menta? What the hell? When's part two? Probably not for a while. Once I settle some IRL business, I'll probably start working on it. I'm not going to be answering these Kobe questions, Confusion. Burrow or Herbert, and why is the answer Herbert? Well, if Joe Burrow doesn't get a better offensive line, then it might be Herbert. He'd be getting sacked out there, boy. Elden Ring is a cop or nah? It's I mean, it depends on what kind of games you like. Tesla says, I wouldn't like if the raid failed. This would make the arc even longer. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, that's kind of like the downside is that if the arc became exponentially longer, like 50 chapters longer, maybe you overplay your cards a bit too much, right? Because the chapter's like what 130 something chapters long already. If you make it like 180 chapters, does that make it better? I don't know. Maybe it does. If Zoro is some deep astral projected state of a coma, that's quite the sentence. What do you think could come of that? Are you talking about the whole Grim Reaper stuff? I don't know. I don't know what's going to be coming of that. I think what common opinion is that something to do with like Emma or something. You know, everything goes back to Emma, so it stands to reason. Who do I got winning the NBA chip with all the trades? It kind of depends on the health of some of these players. If KD comes back and is 100% healthy, I think his team got better. They got depth. They got KD. Think they could still win it. Golden State's a bit iffy. It would really depend on Steph if he plays at his normal clip, because Steph's been he's been in a pretty big slump. It just depends on how consistent he is, but that team's really, really good, so they could still win even without him playing at a high level. Lakers for sure as hell aren't winning. Obviously, the 76ers have a chance. Joel's playing out of his mind. Sleeper pick, maybe no, I don't think. Jokic is playing at an absolutely insane level, but his team's just not good enough. Maybe if Murray comes back. Who's my favorite Band of the Hawk member besides Guts, Griffith, and Casca? Judo. The GOAT. Dritz, what would happen if the raid fails right now? Repeat of all of the fights? Well, I know Morge has his own headcanon, but I also know Morge isn't absolutely set on the outcome of his headcanon. The only thing that really matters is that the raid fails and then something dramatic happens as a result of it. Like that, right? So that's what Morge is aiming for. Whatever happens outside of that, Morge can pretend to predict, but what he wants is the issues with Wano to be fixed. And he thinks that the raid failing is the way to do that, right? Now, in a previous iteration of his concept, the raid failing was involved with the Toby Ropo getting back up and everything like that, right? But anything can happen. In that idea, at least. Wouldn't it have been better for Big Mom not to appear in this arc if she was just going to get yeeted off the island? Yes. Yes, it would have. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad has Westbrook been? Want to say a... It's not a 10. It's not a nightmare situation. I want to say like a 7. An 8. Rooting for Memphis. Memphis is a great team to root for. Like, they're very, very likable. What was the point of Smiley 2.0 if bowel movement just accidentally destroyed it? Was there a point? Dritz wouldn't have been better if Big Mom didn't exist. At this point, yes, but not always the case. Big Mom had a lot of potential. But at any rate, guys, I'm going to take a last round of questions and I'm going to end the stream. How do I feel about Law this chapter? Law's doing a lot of work. Like I said before, Death Clock, you probably weren't here. But the way that you feel about Law really depends on how you personally handle the questionable growth and power. So you can either choose to be disillusioned with it because you're not happy with how the story got to that point in time. Or you can be satisfied with it because I get to see X happen, and that's what I care about. I just want X to happen. How we got there doesn't matter as much. And I think for a lot of people, the latter is how they view the story, which is as long as they see something happen, it doesn't matter how they got there. For me, it's kind of like, I really like Law. So seeing him, do work, it's like, oh, cool, yeah, Law's doing something. But I don't really like how we got here. So it's kind of like meh for me. I see Law doing all these things. I'm like, ugh. Could there at least have been something to indicate the Law's growth or doing something, anything at all? This is really not fair for him to be this strong, blah, blah, blah. As far as the core zone stuff, that wasn't really moving me. I didn't really think that was like emotional or anything. I think that could have been better, but it wasn't bad. This is true. Big Mom at the beginning of Whole Cake Island was on point. She was great at the beginning of Whole Cake Island. As a matter of fact, I would say that Big Mom in the first half of Whole Cake Island was a much more effective and threatening antagonist than Kaido. Dritz, doesn't it feel odd that every time the opposition had the upper hand in this raid, it either got off-screened or simply never mattered? Could this be intentional? Uh, Maybe. I mean, if you're in the raid failing category, but I don't think it's intentional. What's more likely, James losing weight or Kyrie growing up? Because I got who accomplishes that as representative of the East. Probably James losing weight. Just, is it fair to say Berserk is a masterpiece even if it doesn't get an ending? Yeah, I think it's fair to say. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that maybe it not getting an ending is a better case for it being a masterpiece than it having finished. Given how poorly most series end, perhaps it's better to have never found out. Even though I would have wanted to. Seeing something never finished allows you to look at it in a more positive light because you can imagine in your mind what would have happened as opposed to the reality of what might have happened. So, what class am I playing in Elden Ring? Whatever has the most strength. I'm a meathead. I just get the big sword and start swinging. But that is going to wrap up today's stream, gentlemen. I will be posting this one on the secondary channel. So for people that missed it, you can go and ahead and find it there. But thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for List for showing up. We had we had a conversation. I liked it. Thanks for everyone for being respectful, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.